Welcome to our HYCU and Nutanix Eat Ransomware for Lunch webinar. We just thought this title would actually come as kind of a joke because this is actually just before lunch, but we really want to teach you how you can actually deal with ransomware attacks, which is quite serious on the other hand. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Tamara and I'm account executive here at HYCU. Today with us we'll have Jaren, who is SC from Nutanix, and also SC from HYCU, Vladimir. So Vladimir will later show us a bit of a demo, how that can actually be done within our software, but Jaren will also cover Nutanix part as well. So I really hope that all of you can see my screen. If you have any questions or anything that you wanted to add or ask, just please be free to let us know in the chat box. So then by the end of this webinar, we'll have maybe 15 minutes to actually answer to all of your questions. And so, yeah, feel free to do so. And also one more thing, we'll have some polls, so be ready to answer those questions because we'll be giving some HYCU gear as well. So let's start now. So this will be the agenda. First of all, we'll tell you a bit more about HYCU, who we are, what we do as a company, and also cover a bit more about ransomware, what is it actually, and how it actually can threaten your business. But on top of that, we'll talk a bit more about HYCU backup and recovery solutions, and also how Nutanix objects can help you actually with immutable backups, and how you can leverage HYCU with Nutanix objects. And as I said, in the end, we'll cover demo and also Q&A. So a little bit more about who we are, what we do. I know that some of you already know this, but we have some new people here as well. So let's just cover briefly this. So HYCU is actually headquartered in Boston, and we have right now 13 offices that are operating globally. We've been sold to more than 71 countries worldwide. And also something that we're really proud of is actually that most of our staff consists from engineers. So they have more than 25 years of experience in the backup business. And that has led us to being where we are now, with our Net Promoter Score currently being at 91, which is the best in the industry and also aligns with Nutanix NPS score. Meaning that people are not only satisfied with our solutions, but also customer support as well, which is, of course, quite important, especially when you have some issues that you want to resolve as soon as possible. And HYCU is also a strategic partner with Nutanix and some other companies such as GCP and Azure. And we are actually developing purposely built products for these platforms. So when it comes to ransomware, I just wanted to cover what is it and how can you actually combat this. So ransomware has become increasingly complex and sophisticated as it's now threatening not only physical, but also virtualized infrastructure workloads. And those attacks have become increasingly prevalent and actually pose a significant threat to you and your organization. And most recently, we've seen some major attacks also asking for ransom in Bitcoins. So this is quite new for 2020-21, of course. And like the situation whole with COVID and everything is not enough, we see more and more attacks, especially on virtualized infrastructures. And it's believed that every 11 seconds, someone gets attacked by ransomware. So this is a malware that can actually encrypt all of your files, that you cannot access them unless you pay for that ransom, right? So what happens if you don't want to do that, or you don't have the money to do that? What, you're going to go out of business? Of course not. So let's see what we can do to prevent that from happening. And as you can see here, some of the targets are actually in universities, government, especially medical companies as well, also financial institutions. So any company that has a lot of revenue is a great target for them. Of course, like I said, there are ways to protect this. So how you can combat ransomware? First of all, before, of course, you get infected by ransomware, you have to think in advance, right? So there is something that we call prevention. What can you do? You can find immutable backups and storages that will actually help you, so that once if you get hit by ransomware, then you can actually recover from it without paying a single dime. So we at HYCU had definitely two major companies. One was in the US and one was in France, and they experienced these ransomware attacks, and one was actually asked to pay thousands of bitcoins. Of course, they refused to do that, and with the help of HYCU, they actually were able to recover everything without paying anything, and they were pretty happy with it. So, of course, as you can realize, it's quite important to actually think about this in advance, because this is something that's actually happening as we speak. So, like I said, every 11 seconds when a company gets hit by it. So how you can protect from ransomware? Like I said, backup and recovery. This is the thing. If you have Nutanix objects with HYCU, you get immutable backups, meaning that not even any kind of deletion cannot actually be touched. Your files will be completely safe. So, for example, let's say that someone from your company deletes something accidentally, that cannot be done. Also, if you get hit by ransomware, it cannot touch you. So whatever happens, whether it's on purpose or not, you're completely safe, and all of your business critical files will be safe as well on objects. When it comes to HYCU, we usually say that we are really simple to use, and I will like for you to stick around, and during the demo we will show you how that actually looks like, what our interface looks like. You will see a lot of similarities with Nutanix, especially those of you who are already familiar with Nutanix Prism. You will definitely realize that and appreciate much more. For those of you who do not use Nutanix right now, I highly recommend that you consider that. So simplicity is one key. Of course, none of us actually wants to spend their whole day actually dealing with backups and stuff like that. You can actually automate things. On top of that, we all want to save some money, right? Not only with not paying for ransomware, but also when you're actually trying to buy some products, you need to know that you're getting the best for your money, right? This is something that we can definitely offer. And on top of that, we have the best Nutanix alignment on the market, that's for sure, because HYCU was actually purposely built for Nutanix, and also even Nutanix is using our product as well. When it comes to HYCU compatibility, meaning what we can cover, what we can do, so definitely HYCU is running as a VM on top of Nutanix, whether it's HV, ESX, or running on vSphere. We can also cover some of the physical servers. And when it comes to targets, basically you can choose whatever you want. You can choose mine, objects, files, even some S3 compatible storage, right? But when it comes to this case and being protected from ransomware especially, we highly recommend that you consider objects. These are just some of the first things that we did for Nutanix. So we started backing up Nutanix HV back in 2017, and we just developed from there. So every year, every quarter actually, we come up with something new. Every time that Nutanix has some kind of new feature or new technology, we are the first ones on the market that actually can support this. So this is just preview of, so let me just open this. I would just like to ask Jaren to join us so we can maybe cover this from Nutanix side as well. Hi, Jaren.
Hey, Tamara, thank you. Yeah, no worries. I'm more than happy to jump into this. So yeah, Jaron Buds, systems engineer over here at Nutanix. So I cover the enterprise space. So if anyone has any questions specific to Nutanix, of course, you can reach out over to me, just simply jaron@nutanix.com. But yeah, we're just going to cover a bit around the sort of Nutanix piece around mine and objects. So as you can see on the screen here, if we look to the bottom, for those who aren't familiar with Nutanix, we're a hyper-converged infrastructure vendor, and you can see down the bottom left, essentially what a data center solution would look like with Nutanix. So everything compressed down into these 2U appliances and your choice of virtualization on top of those, be it Nutanix native, be it VMware. And if you're feeling really special, you can absolutely go with Hyper-V as well. You can see on the right as well, you've got your choice of your file services. So we offer a software-defined file server instead of a separate managed filing solution. So that can be encompassed on top of the Nutanix solution. And then on top of the main cluster, we've got all of our applications that sit on top of there. And of course, our protection domains. And that's where the HYCU piece ties into this. So what we have is we have all of these different things tied together. So your backups for your file data, the backups for your applications, all can be tied together and ported over onto your choice of Azure, GCP, or AWS if you're within the cloud market. And then of course, you've got the choice of using an on-prem solution for that as well. So if you aren't familiar, we've got Nutanix Mine. So that's essentially pre-configured appliances where you're able to essentially have all the key benefits of Nutanix, rack and stack and add more nodes in as and when your backup footprint grows. And that comes pre-configured with HYCU on it. So it's essentially a turnkey solution. So you need backups, you want something there and now, you don't want to have to go through lots of configuration, fantastic rack and stack, plug it in, and with very little configuration, you can be up and running. If we look to the top here, you can see most of the key benefits associated with this. So you can see that we've got our ease of management. So within the Nutanix console, you'll actually be able to see HYCU from there. So you'll be able to see what's going on with your backups, the cycles they're going through, when those were last carried out, and some granular insights. You can also click forward through onto the Nutanix, onto the HYCU console from there as well, and begin to get more granular insights and do all of your day 2 operations. You've also got all the key power of the Nutanix platform. So everything's packed into these dense nodes that you've got here. Worm backups, so that's what we said about earlier. So that stands for write once, read many. They're actually called worm buckets, which is pretty disgusting, but we didn't choose the naming convention there. But yeah, so essentially what that is that's an object lock. So that's what Tamara was getting at earlier with the whole protection against ransomware. So should you have ransomware invade, your data is immutable, so that's safe to recover to later on. You've of course got modular scalability, so you can rack and stack and add in more nodes as you need to grow out your footprint. We've got the HYCU lightweight architecture. I'll try and be Luke's touch on this. I don't want to steal away Vlad's thunder. I'll leave that to him for later. But essentially, yeah, absolutely, HYCU is going to sit on top of that as a appliance, a mutable appliance, a very lightweight and simplistic to use. And we've also got auto tiering over to objects as well. So we've got Nutanix object storage. That's S3 compatible storage that works with that. If anyone's got any questions at any point, please do chuck them in the chat or feel free to ping me an email afterwards if you've got anything to add. But that's the piece around this. If we just jump through over onto the next slide, can I click? So you can see here what your cluster may look like. So you can have a Nutanix cluster, you can have an air gap over to your objects cluster supported via HYCU. And then you've got all of the key benefits such as high performance, support for that worm, S3 compatibility. And it's just an easily integrated solution that provides value almost instantaneously. And some of the key reasons for why that exists, if I didn't say so already, is that our engineering works with HYCU engineering. So quite often when we've got a new feature release or when something's ready to be released from Nutanix, there's already the counterpart from HYCU that's ready there to be rolled out from day one. So it's already sort of gift wrapped together, if you will. But that's all from me, unless anyone has any questions, and I'll hand back over to the team at HYCU.
Hey, thank you, Jaron, for this. So let's continue. I just wanted to show you a little bit of basically our customers who we're doing business with. As you can see here, it's quite diverse. So we have also someone from US part, so IRS, US Army, Air Force. Also, as I said, Nutanix is also using HYCU, some private banks, education. So basically, no matter how big or small your company is, we can always find a solution for you. And also, like I said, probably all of the verticals are now getting hit by ransomware. So I think it's really time to start thinking about this. And yes, definitely we can support you. Here are just some of the links that I wanted to share with you. So when it comes to HYCU, we have this free trial. For Nutanix, it's free for 45 days. You can go to this link and just download it from there. Try it, test it. Also, our SC Vladimir will be there to help you if needed. Also, on top of that, we have a promotion together with Nutanix. So if you use Nutanix files or you plan to use that, we are also giving something for free. So 1 terabyte free for Nutanix customers. And also, if you want to test drive Nutanix Mine with HYCU, you can definitely do that on this link provided right here. So that would be just a brief overview. I would now like to ask Vladimir to actually start the demo.
Yes, hi. My name is Vladimir, and I'm a system engineer for HYCU. So I will present you a screen and demo actually for tailored for ransomware protection, right? So just tell me if you can see my screen for the start.
Yep, all good.
Okay. So HYCU is just a virtual appliance that you can, as Tamara said, deploy on top of HV, on top of ESXi on Nutanix cluster, or deploy it on top of classical vSphere cluster. What's interesting about this virtual appliance that this is actually CentOS based, CentOS 8 hardened based image, meaning that this appliance is not something that will be easily touched or altered by any ransomware, because 85% of the ransomware attacks are actually on the Windows side and accessing Windows. So other backup solutions that you need to deploy on Windows are prone to be encrypted by ransomware. HYCU is not, right? Additional thing, when you deploy it, you actually have the option to backup any virtual machine that resides either on HV Nutanix cluster or ESXi Nutanix cluster or on a classical vCenter environment, meaning that these backups will be done with a starting point of Nutanix snapshot, and we utilize change block tracking for backing up only used and change blocks. As well as for hypervisors, we are able to back up Nutanix files utilizing change file tracking API. So Nutanix files are smart file shares. We are utilizing that and backing up only changed files. Also starting with snapshots, meaning that all your files will be backed up with the same timestamp. Those files, if some application is using those files, actually the backup will be consistent, right? And the physical servers with 4.2 version, we added Linux support. It's in the preview mode. Next release will be GA actually, but also physical servers can be backed up from Nutanix, from HYCU itself, Windows Server 2012 or newer, or Linux physical servers, right? So as soon as you add your virtual machines or physicals, you will get the list here, and just to be able to protect them, you practically specify a backup target, right? So we were talking about the targets, and we were able to use practically any target. But right now, if we are talking about what is the best target to be used, it's definitely a warm target. Write once, read many will give you ability to write your backups, write your archives. Those archives cannot be changed, cannot be touched, cannot be encrypted, altered in any way, and you choose just S3 compatible. In newer version of HYCU, there will be a Nutanix object as a special target, but right now we will use S3 compatible. And local Nutanix object, as Jaren said, we can live on that local Nutanix object. So HYCU can be deployed either on your production, protecting those production clusters and VMs, or can be deployed on Nutanix objects itself, creating a, let's say, a black box and black and purple box, right, like this, and protecting your environment from ransomwares, right? Meaning that there's one more advantage of it. First of all, if your production environment is attacked, your production clusters are attacked, but your object cluster cannot be attacked as well. Meaning that even if you lose your production in some kind of DR environment, disaster recovery, if you lose your production, your Nutanix object with HYCU on top of it is ready to restore those VMs on any new production environment that you might have or might acquire after the DR, right? So you use S3 compatible, right, and choose S3 objects or something like that. And actually, when you write there and you configure object lock within a Nutanix, nothing that is within object lock time boundaries will be able to be changed or touched or altered or deleted, right? A part of S3 compatible, we definitely can support NFS, SMB, HYCU targets. Also, we can support Nutanix Mine as it is right now. New version of Mine should be available with objects as well. That's something what is coming, right? And other clouds like Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, even tape targets are supported as well. Okay, so when you configured your sources, you configured your targets, actually protecting VMs is just creating a policy, creating, let's say, writing in your policy what is your service level objectives, right? So how often do you want to backup? Like, for instance, daily backups. How fast do you want to recover? Like, for instance, in 6 hours, which is our unique recovery time assurance, because we know the speed of each target, even Nutanix objects, and that Nutanix object that we use and how we work with Nutanix objects, it's very, very comparable with iSCSI, Nutanix Mine as a target, which is parallel writing on all object nodes. So very, very fast Nutanix object target. And you'd specify definitely retention. Then how HYCU works with, during the backups. First backup is definitely a full one, right? But afterwards, we create snapshots, we do a backup from those snapshots and utilize change file tracking or change block tracking, right? Meaning we are writing only change blocks or change files, depending what is our source from which we are backing up. And here we specify after which percentage of change we will create a new chain and start with new full and new incremental. Either we specify how big we want our backup chain to look like. And with HYCU, you get a few levels of automation. First one is automatic selection of the targets, meaning we will automatically select from all of the targets one which can recover within specified RTO, right? Or be the fastest one, right? Meaning if you have multiple targets, you can leave it, or you can change to one that you are actually using Nutanix objects or Nutanix object swarm. And then you can configure a copy with a different retention, longer retention, and have it, for instance, on warm. So multiple layers can be added there. It can be a Nutanix mine as a primary target, then a copy target can be a Nutanix object with warm or cloud, or first let's go to the Nutanix object with warm functionality, then copy to a cloud, and then you can have multiple storage targets. With a copy, we always do a copy from a primary target, right? Of course, there are a couple of other options, which are backup window and archiving. You simply configure them if you need to back up something else than Nutanix. For Nutanix, we start with Nutanix storage layer snapshots, which will never interfere with your snapshot, with your production, meaning you can do a backup during the working hours, even each hour, both for files, both for virtual machines. Even on ESXi on top of Nutanix, we are not utilizing classical vSphere snapshots. We are utilizing storage layer snapshots. This is our comparative advantage over other vendors, right? Those backup windows, if you backup window or archiving, if you take it, you just choose it from already configured ones that you have, and you configure them either backup window here or like a full and incremental during the weekend and incremental only during non-working hours. And archiving as well. So archiving, simply one option regarding the archives that we see. Most of the guys needed archiving for legislative purposes, and they use like monthly archives and yearly archives, something like this. And those archives can be the Nutanix object with a warm functionality will give you immutable targets for the archiving. So you can use those Nutanix objects as an archiving target, and they will not be changed during the duration of the archiving retention, right? But one more option regarding the ransomware protection that keeps you safe, that you get with Nutanix and with HYCU, is fast restore option. So you're backing up your virtual machines each day, and we start, as we told you, with Nutanix snapshots. Those snapshots, if you enable fast restore option, will be available and retained for, let's say, a week on a source. And those snapshots are not discoverable over the network, not discoverable by ransomware. You can see them in HYCU or in Nutanix command line. And we had customers having this option enabled, but their Windows got encrypted by ransomware. Their SMB target, which was not secured, which was connected not only to HYCU, but to other VMs, got encrypted as well, right? So they ringed us, how you can help us, right? We can, definitely. We restored all their virtual machines from fast restore snapshots. So this option is Nutanix only option with either AHV or ESXi on top of Nutanix cluster, and this is it, into the HYCU, built into the HYCU. So use it and always protect your virtual machines with fast restore snapshots as well. Additional Nutanix only option is backup from replica, meaning we can back up your remote clusters, which are utilizing protection domains, replicating on a central one cluster or on a DR cluster, just by choosing what is the receiving end of the replicas. So we are intelligent enough to find those snapshots of the remote VMs on the replicated side and to back up those VMs directly from the snapshots. One layer of automation, meaning you don't have to deploy any new HYCU on a remote site. You can back up all your environment from the DR site, and when you want to restore, you can restore or on any site that you want, right? And auto assignment as an option, you can define some keys like VMware, vSphere, Nutanix Prism categories, or vSphere tags, and we can automatically back up all virtual machines having those tags with appropriate policies. Then additionally, automation with set as default, one of the policies will kick in and backup automatically all the virtual machines that are not having keys or tags, right? When it comes to a virtual machine, when you apply some of the policies to a virtual machine, you get the option to do a file level restoration. So meaning with all restore points, you can back up, you can restore your files. And we catalog, each time we do a backup, we catalog files actually for each VM. So our file level restoration is much faster than other solutions. And definitely that fast restore snapshot is used not only to restore full VMs, but also to restore files from them. So if your target is encrypted, we can restore files. In a case of Nutanix Object, it will not be encrypted. In the case of SMB or NFS, if there is a ransomware attack, it might be encrypted if it's not secured enough. So we can restore either files or application, meaning SQL, MS Exchange, SAP, or whatever you have from application that we automatically discover and can backup. So your files can be restored either into the virtual machine directly, or to a file share, or downloaded to a workstation that you are using to manage HYCU. When it comes to restoration of the VM, you have the option to restore that VM on any location, any storage container. And as you can see, this source of restoration can be changed, altered. Is it a snapshot? If it's automatic, we always look for the fastest source of restoration. Also, clone a VM, like a classical cloning of the VM, testing of restoring, of speed of restoring, or cloning some production VM for testing purposes. Restore disks. You can restore simply disk to any storage container. Clone disk for testing of database, for instance, and testing new development on your applications, right? Or export all those disks as a raw disk to an SMB or NFS file share, right? And reuse them wherever you want. On the application side, as soon as you add credentials to any of the virtual machine, we actually start an application discovery, automated application discovery. Bear in mind, all the backup sources are backed up without any proxies, without any agents. So we are agentless, proxyless solution, right? There is no proxies, no agents. And as soon as we discover from HYCU itself applications, we place them in application pane, and then you are able to back them up with application consistency, also restore them with application consistency, meaning your databases can be restored either whole instance on that target server, just a database restoration to any, for instance, SQL server in this case, or even if you choose any of the previous, we can do previous restore points, we can do restoration of database with a point in time because we back up and turnkey logs. Then again, for all the backups that we do with application consistency, we utilize what is recommended by the vendor side. For the SQL, for the Oracle, for the SAP HANA, so you get proper application backup, proper database backups. All the jobs that we do, we are we create them automatically. You can see every step within a job that we've done, right? You can see a detailed report. You can have events that will be sent to you to your email, right? In the case of failure or something is not working, so you can jump on HYCU and see what's happening. Within the reports, you can create your specific reports. You have some predefined, but you have a powerful report builder, and you can just drag and drop, see a compliancy, if this virtual machine is backed up green, or it's not backed up, or it's not compliant, whatever. Just create your reports. When you create them, you can schedule them to be run daily, weekly, or monthly, and send to you as an email in some of the predefined formats, right? Then a part of HYCU is self-service, which means that you can add multiple teams that can manage their own virtual machines, back them up, restore them, or even you can do backup for multiple clients if you're working as a managed service provider. One more thing about the HYCU, when it comes to a software upgrade, this is very fast, very efficient. You get new image, you upload it to Nutanix or vSphere, you get the list of the images and click on software upgrade. Our appliance has first drive as the OS drive, the secondary drive is data drive, actually, with our database, which is a PostgreSQL and configuration files. So when there is an upgrade, we spawn up a new virtual machine, clone the secondary drive attached to the new VM, shut down the old one, power on the new one, and update is done within 5 minutes without any production VM that needs to be restarted or anything needs to be changed within the production VMs. So you can do it during the working hours within 5 minutes. And everything that we have is actually exposed by the REST API Explorer. And if you want to include HYCU to an overall management solution for your data center, just doing the REST API scripts. And I will show you how you can get events from HYCU. Here it is, and even test it out. Okay. This is very, very short overview of HYCU and what we can do actually for you, help you with your protection of your virtual or physical environment, and protect you additionally from ransomwares together with Nutanix objects.
Perfect. Thank you, Vladimir, so much for this. So I hope you all find this demo really helpful. So now it's time for Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to just ask us, because I see that we have a selected group of attendees, so you can even unmute yourself and even ask us if you don't want to type in. So if you have any feedback or any questions, something that you want us to elaborate on, so let us know. So yeah, we started this poll. So make sure you give your answers, because we're going to select one winner after this. Do you find this software and the overall solution easy to use, or do you even use Nutanix as of now, or you plan to do so? What is your current situation? From your answers, I see that someone has already a certain solution. So if you are willing to actually share that with us, what is that something that's actually working for you, or you would like to consider something else? How that works for you? If not, of course, that's fine. We're here to answer your questions. If you don't have any, then we can actually wrap this up. See, we have shy group of people. That's fine. I actually hope this actually helped you in certain way, and now you know how you can actually protect from ransomware, and by using Nutanix objects and with HYCU software as well. Also, how you can use HYCU for other Nutanix solutions as well. Like I said, we have this promotion for 1 terabyte free files. So if that's something that is interesting to you, just let us know. Okay, so from what I can see now, there are no more questions. I don't want to bother you, so I will let you continue with your day. I just wanted to thank you for actually being here with us and taking your time to listen to this. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.
Cheers, Tamara.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.